Well, hello everybody. It's good to be with you again. I'm hearing lots of good stories from around our two churches about the way people are remaining connected, courageous and confident in the midst of this pandemic. It's created quite a crisis, not just in our country, but around the world. In times of chaos and strange new seasons, when fear is at a high peak amongst the community, all sorts of theories and reasons for the chaos can be perpetrated by all kinds of people. Conspiracy theories and cause and effect theories and all sorts of different theories that people imagine are the cause of the chaos and the fear. And not only that, there's also fear and conspiracy theories about the way governments are handling things. Well, just this week, someone called me and asked me about a particular online evangelist who was making some pretty wild claims and theories about end times and all the rest of it. These kinds of seasons, when they happen, whether it's bushfires or flood or whether it's a pandemic like this or a war, all kinds of conspiracy theorists come out of the woodwork. Some have a barrow to push. Others need some attention and some moment of their 15 minutes of fame or whatever it might be. But rarely are these theories right. One of the theories making the rounds at the moment is about getting your flu injection. There's a way the government can inject into you some kind of microchip to monitor you. That's pretty far-fetched. It's just not even true. One of the things I want to encourage you to do today is to be confident that God has put at the leadership of this country a godly man, a man of prayer, our Prime Minister, Scott Morrison. Just a couple of years ago, before anyone even heard about this pandemic, we knew, or God knew, that he had a man ready to put into a place for such a time as this. That person, Scott Morrison, a man of prayer. He's got hundreds of intercessors praying for him. He's leading prayer meetings in the Parliament himself. That's rare when you look around the leadership of the world. I want to encourage you to be confident in what God has put in place. The Apostle Paul said this to the Romans in chapter 13. He says, "Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there's no authority except that which God has established." The authorities that exist have been established by God. In cases like Australia, that's pretty obvious at a time like this. It may not be as obvious in other parts of the world and in other nations, but it's pretty obvious in Australia. I want to assure you that I believe that God has put this man in place, this government in place, to serve the people for such a time as this. We're not to be afraid. We're to be courageous. We're to be confident. Courageous in the face of the pandemic, which is not greater than our God, confident that God will bring us through this. Let's get behind our Prime Minister and pray. Well, that's all for this week. Make sure you check out the Vibe and the Pulse for what's happening over the Easter services. We look forward to being with you on Good Friday and on Easter Sunday, where we're going to have a family communion time together. The first with two churches joined together in a virtual kind of way right across the region. I look forward to being with you then.